everyone, it's me again, Brittany, and I'm here today to do my plan with me for my reading bullet journal for July. I'm actually pretty excited about this one. It did not turn out how I thought it would. I went into this being like, I want it to be a very literature theme, and then a little bit of wanderlust got into me, and I started kind of missing the idea of traveling and leaving my city. Then I got that little reminder that books really are kind of like traveling sometimes. And that's what I tried to encapsulate. Is that the right word? That's what I tried to do with these spreads, and I overall think they're pretty cute. They're very whimsical, not so much literature, but you know, that's all fine and dandy. I'm really excited too. There is one thing specifically that I did, I did a lot very differently this month, but there's one that you guys are kind of gonna be in on, and I'm very, very excited about that. So make sure to stay tuned till basically the end, because that's when I talk about it. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump on in. Okay, so hey everyone, welcome to my new month's spread. I'm pretty excited about this one. I honestly went through a lot of variations of what I wanted it to look like, and to be honest, I really didn't expect how it would end up looking in the end, but overall I think I'm pretty pleased with it. So I'm just starting off by drawing out this sketch that I had of a girl reading in a library with a white gel pen. And I just did this on a black sheet from my other Archer and Olive blackout notebook that I have. And I really do like to make use of it instead of just trying to do black backgrounds, because I find whenever I do a black background and then try and go over it in a white gel pen, it never is as crisp and it really just doesn't work out for me. But I did kind of just... this one was supposed to be messy, it wasn't supposed to be anything spectacular, and I actually do go back and change it up a little in the end, but I just wanted it to be my cover page because I really wanted this month's theme to be books and magic and kind of like traveling through books. I know we're all still stuck at home, and personally I've missed quite a few vacations and trips that I knew I was supposed to take, and I was really bummed about it this month because I happened to see my spread for it in my life bullet journal, but then I remembered that, books can be their own kind of magic. So I looked up some really cool quotes for it, and I wanted it to be more of like a literary theme, and you'll end up seeing kind of what I do with it, but it did end up being way more whimsical, less literature, I suppose. But here I'm actually taking my foam memo printer and printing out most of the headers in this month's spread. It's just a typewriter font, which I could have done with marker, but it would have taken a lot longer than just being able to print it out using this. So it definitely came in handy. Some of them ended up being not the right size, but I just still went with it, so I hope you guys don't mind that either. And here I actually just ended up taking, I think, the hard Fudenosuke tip brush pen, and I wrote out books. So here I'm going back over it because I thought that I'd had the soft one, which is a little easier to make those thick lines with, and it wasn't. But the quote itself is just, books are a uniquely portable magic. And I went on Goodreads before this and tried to find lots of quotes that had to do with books and literature and feeling like magic, and this one was definitely one of my favorites, and I feel like it embodied the theme overall very, very well, but I didn't love how I wrote it. You can see that I keep going over different parts and different styles of pens, specifically metallic, since they cover up what's underneath them so well. And I end up actually changing it even more before the end, but I just wasn't pleased overall. It wasn't the vibe that I wanted. But I actually ended up taking the sky blue and purpley pink Tombow dual brush pens, and I tried to kind of focus on those colors for this spread, even though my original color palette had to do with also this kind of burnt orangey shade. But I just felt like it wasn't fitting in very well, so you'll see that it just becomes a lot more whimsical with that kind of purple, pink, blue color palette instead of having a lot more of that brown and orange. So, I'm still not entirely sure if I got what I wanted out of this spread, but I do think it's pretty pretty. And then here, I actually wrote my TBR on my front page. I know, there are a lot of spread changes in this one, so I'm really, really excited to kind of go through them with you. And I used washi tape. I've never used washi tape in my spreads before, and I really didn't know how to use it, and I didn't do that great of a job, and the washi tape didn't stick very well, but you know what? It's all about trying. So, yeah, and then we kind of get into my biggest spread change. This is what I like to call my month at a glance spread. So this one, it just, I wanted a place where I could kind of find all of my monthly statistics overall, just like the main things, to look forward to for the month, the main things that I wanted to track for the month, and this is kind of what I came up with, and I think it's pretty cool. So the first thing that we have is me filling out the boxes in the calendar form as I normally do for my days read. But unlike I normally do, there is no key. I will just be filling out the boxes in one of the 3 shades of the Tombow brush pens that I've been using for this spread. And it won't mean anything because I'm really trying not to focus on whether I'm listening to a book on audio or if I read it physically, because it's really been bumming me out that I haven't been reading physically, and I just think that my spread should be a safe place for me. So here though, I created a little area for content to create for the month. Instead of tracking like what weeks and what videos I want to have up by certain weeks, I am just putting down video ideas and the ones that I want to create for that month in those little boxes, and when I create them does not matter, and I'm hoping that this kind of alleviates some of the pressure that I put on myself around this idea, and hopefully this makes me want to use my spread even more than I have been, because I really haven't been using my bullet journal as much as I wanted to. And then on this page we have my hauled books area, where I remembered that I wanted to be drawing little book spines behind all of my titles, which I think looks pretty cute. And I also have my anticipated releases area, which I've never focused on before, and I'm really excited to start implementing that in my spreads, and I think it's going to be very useful for me and the content that I create. Also, if you were wondering about any of the supplies that I've been using, specifically I've been using mostly the Pigma Micron fine liners in varying sizes, and then those 3 shades of the Tombow dual brush pens. But if you want more information on any of the supplies that I use, and if you want like a thorough list, it is always going to be linked down below in my description with links to purchase them if you yourself wanted to, or if you needed more information on them. I know I used to say that I would link everything down below, and then I didn't, but I've gotten a lot better at linking all my supplies down below, so please check that out if you have any questions about what I end up using. And then here we have kind of a little fun play on my pages read tracker that I used to use all the time last year. And it's more of like an overall pages read for the month tracker, where I went 0 to 3,000 because potentially I can read 3,000, but I also might read more, but who knows? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I thought it would be a little bit more fun to track it this way than how I used to, where it was kind of like a full out thing because I had to fill in that bar completely and I was just getting out of the habit of it. But I do think that this is really cute, and then the bottom one is actually my books read per week spread, which I think is kind of cool. They're just little like book spines that I'll probably write the week and the amount read on top of when I finish a book. But I think it's a good way to kind of track how my reading tastes are changing, and I've been noticing that I tend to read a lot in a short period of time, so I'll read most of my books in like 1 week and then not read anything else for the other few weeks, and I kind of want to see if that's accurate, or I don't know. I think that it'll just be a good thing to track. Now for this spread, I just kind of started with more of those little sparkle doodles that I've been doing, and I decided to keep my little notes section next to my books read spread because that's what this spread is. It's just my books read tracker that I like to implement. And I loved having a notes area last month. I didn't use it for every single book that I read, but it just was kind of a nice place to write my review for it, which is really what I should use Goodreads for, but I never do, and I loved having it near my spread. I think that it helps a lot, especially I think for future reviews of those books, just to kind of see what my thoughts were as I finished them. Now for my books read spread, I did a kind of similar layout as last month instead of keeping it inside of a chart, and I think I liked it better this way, so we'll see how I feel by the end of this month. But right around here, we're going to notice that I realized I should be using a lot more of the orange in my spread, so it looks a little bit more literature-like and not so whimsical. So let's rewind a little bit. Hope that wasn't too annoying. It definitely brought back my VHS memories of when I was a kid and had so many VHS tapes. But I just kind of outlined all of the book titles in that orange shade for all of the spreads now. And I think it's like the perfect amount of orange because I didn't love the orange, but I think just a hint of it looks a lot better. Now this is something I feel like I'm more excited for than I should be, but I decided earlier in this month that instead of calling my brain dump page Brain Dump, I wanted to call it Brainstorm. I just thought it was really cute, and I remember hearing someone one time talking about how brain dump just sounds so like bleh, dumpy, and I was talking about brainstorming something else to one of my friends, and I was like, oh my gosh, that would be the perfect name for a brain dump spread, just Brainstorm. And, you know, I like storms and moons and aesthetics that are similar to those, so it just, you know, felt right. And here we have something I haven't done in a while, which is actually just an illustrated page in the middle of my bullet journal. I forgot that I used to love to do these. And this one's heavily, heavily inspired by the Darker Shade of Magic covers of him jumping through the different kinds of Londons, and for me though, I wanted it to just be a girl that's jumping into the pages of a book, and I still write as Travars later on just because I just think it was really cute. It fits so well with my feelings of even though we're trapped at home, you can travel wherever you want as long as you have a good book. And it's not perfect, honestly, but I think that overall I'm really pleased with how this turned out. And I think that it was just a really cute idea, and I'm glad that I actually made an illustrated page because it's been so long since I've done those. And this one I went full throttle with all those whimsical clouds in the background because, you know, she's traveling with magic into books, which is a talent I'm sure any of us would wish to have, and reminds me a lot of Inkheart. Did anyone read those books? Yep, and here I am just drawing in the little background of the book spines for the Brainstorm, and I decided to write a little quote that comes out of the book saying, "We lose ourselves in books, we find ourselves there too." And I honestly can't remember who said that quote. Give me a minute. Well, after a quick Google search, I don't feel so bad. It's by Anonymous, so no wonder I didn't know who said it. It's literally not even known by Google. But I do really love that quote. I think that it also embodies the literature theme so well, and I liked that it was kind of spiraling out of the book. And I'm sorry I'm still talking about it even though we're not looking at the page. But here we just have my wrap-up style page. I decided to call it more of a wrap-up than my favorite book, and that is because I've added in a few more trackers onto this spread. So we do just have the little Polaroid, which has cute little doodles around it. And then we have some varying styles of open books and spines for the background titles. And you can't see, but I put down the favorite on top of the Polaroid and the book is on the bottom. And then there's Growth Tracker on top of this open book, and that's for YouTube and Bookstagram because I really want to focus more on social media and being better about posting on those things. I think it just, you know, is useful. So I outlined the Polaroid in this kind of like constellation thing. I don't know if I love it, but it just felt really, really blank, so that's why I did that. Now for the other page in the spread, it's actually up to you guys, so please leave me any comments down below, just letting me know any bookish style magic literature quote that you might have thought of while we were doing this spread, or even a drawing you might like to see me do. And whichever one gets the most likes, I will actually go ahead and film myself doing in one of my vlogs for this month. I'm so excited about doing this with you guys, and I hope that you're kind of excited about this as well. But without further ado, I'll be quiet and let's go through the flip through. And that was it for my July plan with me. I'm really happy with this. I had honestly the biggest brain block going into this, and I'm really excited that I ended up coming up with this kind of idea. I think it's really cool. I'm really hyped that I am going to be doing one of your guys's quotes or maybe simple drawing at the very end that I, again, will be filming in a reading vlog for the month. So make sure to please leave some comments down below of any quote that kind of fits this theme, or maybe a very simple, I am not like an artiste, guys. I just doodle. So if there is a drawing, just make sure it's not like out of this world, please. But I will attempt to do my best at whichever one gets the most likes. So before you guys answer with your quote, make sure to also look through the ones that are already down there, just to make sure it's not already like doubled up. So that's gonna be it for this video today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. I'm so excited. Stay tuned for that blank page drawing that we'll be doing later on in the month. I hope you're staying super safe. I love y'all so much. And I almost broke my nail. And I will see you in my next one. Goodbye!